Hey guys, how you doing? Is it a bit bright in here? Who's that? Right, I'm gonna have to put these different glasses on. These are bifocals, so I tend to do this all the time. So I'm gonna swap my glasses over. Oh god, I haven't worn these for ages. I don't think I can wear these. So I can read the comments. No, I can't read. I can't use them. These are prescription glasses, so I'll stick to these. How you all doing, guys? Right, let's see who's been commenting. Snestastic. Hey Pete, how you doing? Dean Swain, oi oi. Flying Scotsman, how you doing? Moo Butt, I want those speakers. Shame we can't activate his phone and shout out to him. Jack and Coke. I have got rum and Coke on the go. Celebration time, although my girlfriend's not here to join me. So yeah, celebration time, guys, which I'll get into. It's been a while. I don't do many videos these days, and there's been a very good reason for that. I'm just on the Captain Morgan's, very boring. I don't normally get Captain Morgan's, but that was a gift from my good friend Steve Larkins, who I stored a cab for him, very rare cab. So he bought me a bottle of rum. Is the lighting okay? Is it a bit too much? I'll dim it. Yeah, celebrations, guys, for me. As you probably noticed, I haven't been on YouTube that much these days, and there's been a lot going on in my life. To be honest with you, a hell of a lot going on in my life. But I'm in a good place now, an even better place from today, because I am moving. Yes, and finally get my own arcade, a really nice arcade. I'll have it all set up, all my games together, finally, in a fantastic room. I'm so happy, and in a beautiful house as well. My gorgeous woman, I absolutely adore, and I just can't wait, guys. I really can't. This is such a special time for me. You know, I've rented all my life, and I've had a difficult last 20 years, to be honest with you, ups and downs. But I'm really happy now. I've met a good woman, and I'm moving to a cool place and finally get a really cool arcade. So finally, I'll have all my games all in one room, and I'll be able to upload videos like I used to on a regular basis, because I love the hobby. Hey Sol, how you doing, mate? Thanks for joining us, Sol. I was just saying to the guys, time for celebrations. Hope you've got a beer. I'm moving house and finally get my own arcade. Thanks, Moo. At the moment, I've got 4 cabs in this room. So I've got Sheriff, Rabbitron, Donkey Kong Jr. and Astro Blaster. And I've got 5 cabs somewhere else, and they're all going to come together, and I'll have room for other stuff as well. Yeah, it's brilliant news, Pete. I'm really looking forward to this, and I've got some 2 cool cabs coming as well. I've got a really rare prototype arcade machine coming to my collection, and I'm not going to say what it is, but for those of you who watch this channel, and I've done a video on this game, and the love for this game, the story behind me getting this prototype is unbelievable. But I'm so chuffed. It's still waiting to come over from the United States, so it's going to take another month to arrive. But I really can't wait to get this prototype game in my collection. It's a game I used to play back in the day in the joke shop in Twickenham High Street. And for those who watch my videos, you probably know already what it is, but I can't believe I've got this. I'm going to do a whole video on this. I'm going to take it to the Computer Cambridge Museum. Maybe do a talk on the developer who designed this game. It's a fantastic game, it really, really is. But I'm not going to go into any more details. I want it to be a sort of surprise, but you'll probably already guess what it is. But yeah, I'm super chuffed, guys. That's why I'm celebrating. I thought I'd do a video and hopefully upload more videos in the future. Now, I've got this arcade in sight. Yeah, it is awesome, dude. I see your picture on Instagram. It's absolutely amazing. God, what have you got? You've got a oh God, what is it? A Hellfire. You've got a. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit pissing over excited here. This guy's got the most awesome arcade collection, Nintendo arcade collection I've ever seen. Something that I dreamed of back in the day when I had this tiny little room. I dreamed of getting all the Nintendo arcade games together, but never had the room. And this guy's got a Hellfire. He's got a, God, what is it? Radar scope. And what's the other one you got? I can't remember what it is now, but it's got an awesome collection. There's some guys out there with some awesome Nintendo collections. Something I've always dreamed of, but because I've never had the room, you know, I've had to let stuff go. And going forward, getting my own arcade together, I want a bit of variation going forward. I love Nintendo. I'll never get rid of my Nintendo Sheriff. I've got my Sky Skipper, and I've got my favourite game, Donkey Kong Jr., which I'm going to have a double Donkey Kong board in it. That's enough for me. There's so many other games that I love playing, like Robotron and Astro Blaster. I've got a Wizard of War. I've got a Gorf. You know, I've got a Millipede on its way. In fact, a Millipede's just arrived in the UK. Hopefully that will be with me next week. I'll do a video on that. And I've got a whole list of games I want to add to my collection. Now I can see I'm going to have this awesome arcade. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, no worries, mate. I hope you get that Demon's Crest. It looks okay, looks legit. I sold my Demon's Crest for about 480 quid. It was unbelievable. And guys, I have sold a lot of stuff. I've sold a lot of stuff, and for a very good reason, is I wanted these arcade machines and I couldn't afford them. And they came up. Hey Tony, how you doing? See the arcade meet. Hey Tom, how you doing? It is going to be epic, Tom, hopefully. Yeah, I've sold a lot of Super Nintendo games. Remember, I had about 200 Super Nintendo games. It's now down to about 30, I'm afraid. It was a very reluctant sale, but I managed to get enough money together for this prototype arcade machine that will be coming hopefully in about a month's time. It's a game, I wouldn't say it's a grail game for me. It's a game that I played back in the day and I love, and I still play a lot today. So to get a prototype of it is unbelievable, and I just didn't have the money, so I had to sell a lot of Super Nintendo games. And do you know what, guys? I've managed to get this. I borrowed this from a good friend of mine, Paul. It's a EverDrive for Super Nintendo, and to be honest with you, a lot of those games I didn't play anyway, and it's just as easy just to play them on this. But I've managed to keep 30 of my favourite Super Nintendo games, which I don't want to get rid of. But a lot of my games went to SNES Fantastic. He bought a lot of games, and I really appreciate you buying them, mate. It was a good deal. It was a good deal. But going forward, I see my arcade. I'll probably be able to fit around 16 cabs in there. Hey, how you doing? Who's that? Let me just see. God, this YouTube thing. I can't. Are you still there, guys? Is that Dell's Arcade? Mad Max, how you doing? Yeah, I can always buy the SNES games back, Tom. That's the whole thing. They're not as rare as a prototype game arcade machine. And, you know, the arcade games are going up in price so much now. I want to try and grab them as quickly as I can, to be honest with you. Retrocade 1979, how you doing? Yeah, I was just saying, the arcade games, which is, I love the console games, but I love the arcade games just as much, if not just that little bit more. It's so much nostalgia for me playing the arcade games, and I want the ones that I played back in the day, and they're going up in price so much now. It's okay, they're going up in price. Are you still there, guys? Sorry. Mad Max, yeah, I bet you do want an arcade machine. Yeah. Cine Steve, how you doing, Steve? Vectrex at Alex's gaff. Yeah, well, maybe, you know, maybe. It's about time, man, because I've always rented, and I've always had that insecurity of having to be pushed out of a rented accommodation and never having the guts to really fulfill my hobby with the games that I really want, because I always worry about the landlord chucking me out. In fact, that was the case, as you know, if you go back and look at my YouTube channel, my last videos. I moved around quite a lot and I had to get rid of a lot of games. Cine Steve has an awesome arcade. Cine Steve, your video on your game room tour was unbelievable. Such a fantastic mix of games. Oh, Tony, good for you, mate. Yeah, a lot of guys that are in the chat are going to UK VAC Meet. I can't wait. We've already got 29 people that have paid and already know 10 more that are going but haven't paid yet. So it's going to be an awesome event. Mad Max, you got yourself a Vectrex finally. Guys, I just got some new overlays for my Vectrex from Lawrence. Unbelievable Vectrex overlays. I've got a Asteroids Deluxe horizontal overlay. He sent me a Star Wars overlay, an Armor Attack overlay, and a War of the Worlds overlay. So I'm looking forward to putting those on. What's the wish list of new cabs? UK VAC Meet is UK VACers only, mate, I'm afraid. In the UK, I don't want to open it to the public. Well, I'll tell you the list of cabs that I've got now, okay? Oh yeah, I won't forget that, Dean. Right, so many people commenting in the chat here, I've got to keep up. Dean just mentioned, I do podcasts, guys, and I plan to do more podcasts with the Retro Asylum podcast, and in fact, I just did an episode with Dean Swain on the Vectrex, so download that podcast. Me and Dean have got so much passion for the Vectrex, and Dean came round here and we played the Vectrex and we recorded an episode for Retro Asylum. Check that out, guys. It's a great system. Thanks, Mad Max. I really appreciate that. Because I don't really get much feedback, really, so I don't really know who's listening. So, I listened to your podcast. It's great, mate. Base Invader. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Going back to my cab list. So, right now, I have Astro Blaster, Sheriff, Robotron, Donkey Kong Jr., Wizard of War, Gorf, Moon Alien, which will probably go, and you haven't even seen that cab yet. It's a really weird Ace Caf made in Wales. I picked it up on the cheap, got it going. It's basically a Galaxian clone. I bought it because it's small. It's kind of cabaret size. But going forward, I'm not sure if I hang on to it, but it is quite a rare cab, and it's a fantastic game. It's just like Galaxians, but you actually control the fire as it goes up the screen. You've got like an energy bar, which doesn't really affect the gameplay, but it's a cool game. But I've got other games in mind. Bearded Man Child picked up the Vectrex this month. Well done. Time Pilot is an awesome game. If you haven't got the Vect Fever cart, you've got to get Time Pilot, Vectarians, and Vector Patrol. Brilliant games on the Vectrex. Armor Attack is a really good game, actually, on the Vectrex. I'll show you my copy of Armor Attack. This is a fantastic game. It's one of my favourite games on the Vectrex. And I've got nearly a complete collection of the Vectrex. I think I'm missing Pole Position and a few others. They're quite expensive though. And is it Polar Attack? There's like an underwater game. Why does it keep doing that? Oh fucking hell, where have you gone? God, sorry guys, are you there still? I don't know how to work this chat shit. It keeps going. Oh, there we go, that's how you do it. Sorry guys. Where would you get the homebrew games from? The homebrew games, where do you get them from? God, just join the Facebook groups, guys. Vectrex Unite, go on there. I can't remember, to be honest with you. Where you get the homebrew Vector games from. But going back to my ideal arcade setup, I'm really getting into Defender. Defender, for me, as a game as a kid, I couldn't quite grasp the controls. There was just too many. But now as an adult and seeing people play, it's one of those games when you watch people play Defender, it's a beautiful game to watch, just like Robotron. So I quite fancy a Defender. And I can't believe Defenders now go for the money that they do. And that was a cab back in the day that used to go for about 200-300 quid. Now you're talking about £1,000, 1,500 quid. Wait, you don't mention Sky Skipper. Fucking hell, what is wrong with this? Sky Skipper. Yeah, I've got Sky Skipper. I don't play it that much. I've got Sky Skipper. I'll never get rid of Sky Skipper. It is a game that I feel that needs to belong in a museum somewhere where everyone can appreciate it. But with the whole history behind the game, I could never get rid of it. But it's one of those games I don't play a lot. You know, it's not like a Robotron or an Astro Blaster. I mean, Sheriff, to be honest with you, I don't play that much these days. But I could never get rid of it. It's just, it was my grail cab 10 years ago. And the whole journey for me getting that game, I mean, I literally travelled 18 hours across Europe to pick up that Sheriff game. And you know, going forward, getting my arcade together and getting all my games together, I'm going to do a video on each and every arcade game that I've picked up and the whole story that went behind them. The whole story how I picked that Sheriff up is unbelievable, to be honest with you. And just lucky that I got into the hobby when I did. Pac-Man machine, I'm not really into Pac-Man. Yeah. No, I'll never get rid of Sky Skipper, Steve. There's too much history. I've got my friend in Whitney that I made good friends with. It's an unreleased game by Nintendo. The whole effort of us putting it into that game, I couldn't get rid of it. You know, even though I've played it to the levels where it just loops. So if you play Sky Skipper and you loop it twice, it then loops the last 4th level over and over again, which is unfortunate, and that's probably why it didn't do very well in the arcades. So there's not much replay value in the game, but you know, it's not about the game for me, Sky Skipper. It is about the whole history of the game and how, you know, I acquired it. And this was back in the day when I was trying to get a complete Nintendo arcade collection. I was hunting down these really obscure Nintendo games, and for a while, you know, I thought I was going to have that Nintendo row, but I never had the space, and unfortunately, with my life the way it went, I never managed to achieve it. But now, going forward, I want a bit of variation. Yeah, people can play it on the Nintendo Switch as well. Going to Margate Play Expo. Well, guys, if you're a member of UK VAC, you need to come to the UK VAC meet. I've advertised it on the UK VAC forum. There's already 30 guys coming. There's going to be 40 odd cabs there, and there are going to be some rare cabs there, guys. I mean, you know, I'm going to bring my prototype machine. I'm going to bring Sheriff. I'll bring Sky Skipper, and I know a lot of other collectors are going to bring some really obscure stuff. Is it Margate tomorrow? I didn't know that. I didn't know Play Margate was tomorrow. I went there about 4 years ago. In fact, I saw John Studley get his perfect Pac-Man at Margate about 3 years ago. What consoles do I own now? I've got the Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, and the PC Engine. I love the 16-bit era. I've been picking up a few amount of Spectrum games and a few BBC Micro games, and I've been picking up a lot of Switch games. You want to see the latest Switch games? I don't know, it's a bit modern, but it's cool. Where are they? So I've been picking up, these are really cool Switch games. The Garden Between, I got the limited box edition. This is a really cool puzzle game for the Nintendo Switch, and it's a physical release by Super Rare, and I absolutely love this game. It's so cool. It's got beautiful atmospheric music. I love the story behind the characters, and it's just beautifully well made. I love this game. So that's what I've been playing recently. I recently received this today, which is Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Avenger X, which looks like a really cool side-scrolling shooter. What's that? Let's just see that. So I need to go back and read these comments. You're talking so quick. When is the meet again, Dean? The meet is on the 2nd of May, Dean. Hi there, Arcade Mad. Never cards here. Alex, could you show you a quick glimpse of the remaining SNES you have, please? Alright, okay. SNES-tastic Pete, really cool. Yeah, I know. I think it's a nostalgia, Pete. SNES-tastic. There's a lot of nostalgia there for the Specky. I'm not going for a full collection. Well, you couldn't go for a full collection, but I'm just really getting the games that I remember back in the day, really. I think John's Perfect Pac-Man was 5 years ago. Yeah, I was there, Steve, when that happened. So yeah, that's really cool. And I'll just show you this one I picked up as well. Fuck knows how you pronounce it, but I've been watching YouTube videos on this. It looks like a really cool platformer. Most of the games I pick up on the Switch are sort of 8-bit, 16-bit type games. I picked up Dragon's Dogma on the Switch, and you know, I've just played all these games before. It's just such a slog to get into. But I do find the kind of retro arcadey type games on the Switch great fun, easy to pick up, and those are the sort of games I'm picking up on the Switch. You want a quick whiz round this games room? It's tiny, guys. So there we have Donkey Kong Jr., Robotron, Sheriff, Astro Blaster, and there are my SNES games. There's probably about 40 left, something like that. I've just kept my favourites, and the rest I've sold and managed to get the money for these 2 arcade machines that are coming here, which is what I really wanted, to be honest with you. I can still play the other SNES games on the EverDrive. So there you go, and I still have, I don't know if you, I just hope the camera don't drop. I've got a bit of Game & Watch collection going on down here. I've got some BBC Micro games down here, as you can see, guys, and some Specky games. I've still got all my 3DS games down here, all my Vectrex games here, near complete collection. I've slimmed it down a lot, guys, I really have, but it doesn't bother me. At first it was daunting. Oh, you can see the little arcade cabs in the back there, the numbskull arcade cabs are really cool. Yeah, it's alright. And then I've got other games, arcade machines. I've got 5 other arcade machines somewhere else, which has been difficult for me to showcase, to be honest with you, because of my situation, which I won't go into. But this is why I'm doing this video. It is a cause of celebration, because I am moving and I will finally have my own games room with all my games, all my arcade games in one place. And this place, what do I think of the arcade 1-up cabinets? I think they're a load of shit. I don't like them at all. I don't see the point. I don't see the point to buying this fucking plastic machine with an LCD screen. They're rubbish. Yeah, so I'm really chuffed about having my own space finally. And I reckon with the space I've got about 5.5 meters by 3.5 meters, and I've worked it out. I'll get about 16 to 18 cabs in there, as well as this setup. I still don't want to get rid of my little console setup, and going forward, you know, I still want to pick up console games as well, because I do love the console stuff. But you know, I'm not going to pick up, I'd rather pick up, if it comes to console stuff, owning a house finally, well, with the help of my partner, finally owning a house. I won't be renting anymore. Going forward, if I pick up any games, Ross, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I'll get loads in there. Yeah, so about 5.5 meters by 3.7, I think it is. I've worked out, I reckon I get 16 to 18 cabs in there. Depends how I want to do it. I'd like a couple of jammer cabs, really, to be honest with you, but I don't know. You know, these dedicated cabs come up. I don't know. It's nice to play games like R-Type on a jammer cab, and just anything, you know, for the podcast. Just pick up a game and play it in a jammer cab. but you can't beat the dedicated cabs, you know. And I'm such a sucker for some of these dedicated cabs. So I really want a food fight, not food fight, too expensive. A Zookeeper. A Zookeeper's on my list. A Defender's on my list. An Asteroids Deluxe is on my list. I quite fancy a driver, a racer for the arcade. Yeah, it is a dream. When is the next podcast? Well, I'm going to be doing my own arcade podcast with a good friend of mine. We're working on it right now. We're going to set it up. But also, I'm going to be doing podcasts for Retro Asylum, which I'm really looking forward to. What was Richie Knuckles? Flynn's. When are you going to come and visit Richie Knuckles' new place here in New Jersey? I'd love to come over to the USA, man. I mean, hey, Lee Thomas, happy Nintendo, happy Friday. Thank you, dude. Yeah, I mean, I want to go back to America. America's one of my favourite places in the whole wide world. I love America. I love American people. There's so much of America I want to explore. I want to go back and see my friend Whitney. I want to go to Chicago. Kung Fu Master would be a great cab. And there's so many great events in America I want to go to. I want to go and see John from John's Arcade as well. He's invited me over. I'd love to do a video of John's Arcade in his arcade. That would be absolutely awesome. And I don't think he's that far from Chicago, to be honest with you. One day I'll get to see John. I did chat with him the other day in WhatsApp. He said he hasn't been doing much arcade stuff recently. But if you listen to, you miss Sega Zombie, good old Scott. Scott's been going through a lot of shit recently, but he will be back. I'm in contact with Scott. He will be back. Yeah, it'd be good to see John. I love John. He's such a top bloke. The whole community's great, man. I mean, there's just, you get the odd troll now and again. I think we've dealt with one fairly recently that's been trolling me for quite a while. But in general, the whole community is pretty cool, really. I mean, I don't get it with people that troll. I mean, we do this as a hobby, as escapism from the everyday life shit that we have to deal with. You know, we have to go to work, we've got family to look after and feed. And we do this as an escapism, as an enjoyment. The last thing we want to be doing is being trolled by people, but luckily we've dealt with one fairly recently. Chicago is awesome. Great arcades in Chicago. Yeah, there is. My good friend Vic from the 10 Pence Arcade podcast went there last year, and I was going to go, but I'd done my backing. I really want to go to Chicago. I mean, that is the home of arcade and pinball, isn't it, Chicago? Love to go to Chicago. Some great arcades. Some really rare machines. It's a great community part. Everyone help out. Yeah, everyone does. Hey, Clay Graphics. I have streamlined my SNES collection, mate. I got a lot of money for it. It was, as I say, it was a reluctant sale. I didn't want to get rid of it, but there was a couple of arcade games that came up and I wanted it and I didn't have the money, so something had to give. What's that? Happy Friday, Nintendo Arcade. Can you please do the noise when you eat a cake? The noise when I eat a cake? What is that? Yeah, there's always priorities. Well, the thing is, when an arcade machine comes up, and they don't come up that often, I mean, you can trawl eBay all day long in the UK, and you won't see jack shit. There's no machines coming up at all. 10 years ago, you know, I picked up that Sheriff Trimline on eBay for 300 quid. Can you believe it? You just don't see that shit anymore. Everyone's on it. So you have to go to the US, or you just have to be in the circle. You have to know other collectors. So if you're thinking about getting into the hobby and you're looking for an arcade machine, you've got to get in with the community and just ask around. Look, I'm looking for this particular game, and they go, "Oh, I know someone that's got a Defender for sale." That's how it works, basically. SNES-tastic. Have you seen the Intellivision Amico? Thoughts? Do you know what? I don't know much about it, Pete, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, I didn't have one back in the day, so I don't have any nostalgia for it. I'll be interested to see what it does though. Are you still doing road trips? Yeah, I'm still doing road trips. I've got about 2 or 3 people on my list to do arcade tours of. I've got, well, I'm not going to say who they are, but they've got some fantastic collections and they are awesome players as well. It's just about really getting the date set in, and you know, this time of year it's just not great, guys. It really isn't. What with the shit weather we've been having, people have got other things on their mind. But yeah, I've got loads of ideas going forward. You know, I love this hobby so much. I say I want to do the podcast, 2 podcasts I want to do, and do more YouTube once I get the arcade set up. As I say, I'm so excited tonight. I just thought I'd do this video because I've missed doing YouTube. It's been really difficult for me to do YouTube because of my situation. Because I just love talking about the games. And I've also, guys, I've stopped doing the adverts. There's going to be no more adverts on my channel. It's a total waste of time. I've never been in it for the money anyway. The only reason why I did the adverts on the channel was basically just to earn, if I could earn enough money just to warrant some petrol money for the game room tours. I thought, well, that's cool. It hasn't cost me anything. The time is my time because I enjoy doing it. But if I get 20, 30 quid out of advertising, it pays for the petrol. But it over the 3 years I've been advertising on YouTube, I've probably earned about 35 quid. It's not worth it. And you know, do you know what? Everyone hates seeing adverts, so I've just stopped all that shit. For me, it's just about the games. It's about the community. I don't care how many subs I've got, as long as you all enjoy the videos. I enjoy making them because I love the hobby. I love talking about games. So I've cut all the adverts out. You took the ads off yours, Pete, as well. Yeah, good for you, mate. It's a load of bullshit, isn't it? Yeah, people don't want to see adverts, do they? And what does it mean? We're not in it for the money, are we? We just love the hobby. We love gaming. You know, I think 3,000 subs is a great amount. If I kept that amount of people watching this channel, it's great. You know, it's fantastic. Just read the comments, guys. Base Invader. Do you think John Hancock will ever open his humble game museum? Oh, that guy. Do you know what? When I started watching John Hancock, I actually thought he was all right. He was genuine, but there's been a couple of videos he's done, and I just thought, yeah, I found it difficult to watch, to be honest with you. I don't know what his prerogatives are. I don't know. I really don't know whether he's going to open a museum. If you open a museum, is it going to be done as a profit organisation or as a charity? I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest with you. He's got an amazing collection for sure. Yeah, the ads anger me as well, Pete. Thomas Lee, really enjoy your content, mate. Would be nice to see more of it, but I understand. Yeah, well, it's just been my situation. The reason why I haven't been on YouTube that much recently is just been my situation. I've had a lot of shit going on. You know, I haven't seen my daughter for 2 years. That's been a difficult thing for me to deal with. Separated from my last relationship, and my daughter was taken away from me, and I haven't seen her for 2 years, so that's been really difficult for me to deal with. I don't normally talk about personal stuff on my channel, but hey, fuck it, man. I mean, I don't let it get to me, but at the same time, how can you forget something like that? So that's something really quite personal that I've had to deal with. But I've met a good person. She's put me in a good place. You know, I'm just getting on my life at the moment. Yeah, I feel my pain too. But you know, over the last few months, I count my blessings, guys, because there's some people that have had so much more shit to deal with than I have. I tell you that now. There really has been. Good friends of mine as well. My good friend Scott, Sega Zombie. I won't go into detail, but that poor guy's had some serious shit to deal with. My heart goes out to him and his family. Bit of rum and coke, guys. That's what it's all about. It's good to chat with you guys. It's good to see you back. And thanks for sort of hanging in there and, you know, still subscribing to me, because I'm still here. I'm still into the hobby. I still love it. I'm still buying stuff. Just don't upload the videos. It's just been too difficult. But, you know, when I get my new place, it's definitely going to happen. Yeah, thanks, guys. Everyone's got their own shit to deal with, right? And the thing is, when you go on YouTube, you don't want to listen to other people's problems because you've got your own shit going on. I'm like that. I mean, for me, this hobby is an escapism. It's for us to escape and forget about all the bullshit that we've got in my life. So the last thing you want to hear is the bullshit I'm dealing with. So I don't normally talk about my personal, I don't want to talk about my personal stuff on this channel, but I'm telling you, I've had a lot of shit to deal with, and that's why I haven't been uploading stuff a lot over the last 2 years. Thanks, mate. Thanks, Arcade Mad. But you know, I haven't gone away. I'm still collecting. I love the gaming. I love all the aspects of it, man. It's so cool. Do you know what I love about the arcade community? There's so many different people that take different angles at it. You've got people that just play the games for the high score. They're not into collecting at all. They just play the games. They're quite happy with emulation, and they just go for the high scores. And normally they're the best players. And then you've got the hoarders that just want to grab everything and ram it in a room and say, I've got all of this, but it's not organised. It's just total chaos. But they love the hobby as well. Then you've got the people that just like fixing stuff, restoring stuff, which is really, really cool. And then you've got the kind of like the sort of OCD collectors that like everything perfect arranged on the, and you know, I've learned all this through doing the game room tours, that everyone comes at a different angle, and it doesn't matter what angle you come at, it's still a really enjoyable hobby. And I like to think I'm a kind of bit of everything. You know, I'm a bit of a hoarder, I'm a bit of a collector, I love restoring, I love fixing, I love all of it, man, and I love every aspect that every collector comes at it because it's so cool. It's so cool. I love just seeing all the games and all the artwork on display. I really do. I don't like chaos, games everywhere, boxes everywhere. I do like access to all my games because I do like to play them. Yeah, well, Mad Max, my video tours, the game room tours, I absolutely love doing. You know, you keep fighting for your kids, man. You keep fighting. It's difficult. Unless you've got the money to fight for your kids, it's difficult. It would cost me 17k to see my daughter, which is a very difficult. She could still poison her and still be left with nothing. So I'm not going down that route. I've got peace of mind right now anyway. So if you're in the same situation as me, just be strong, man. Just be strong. Yeah, where were we? Ask me some more questions, guys. Got sidetracked. So many comments. But I love all the channels that I watch. I don't often make comments, but I do watch you all. What are you doing at the weekend? This weekend, well, my good girlfriend is away tonight, and tomorrow we're going to be celebrating because we've just bought a new house. Any consoles I want to pick up? Atari Jaguar. I'll tell you why, Pete. Because I've got one game for the Atari Jaguar, and it's Tempest, and I managed to pick up an Atari Jaguar with a spinner controller because I love this game so much. I really want to play this game. So, and there are some really cool homebrews for the Jaguar as well. You know, it's a bit like the Vectrex. The games that come out for originally are not that great, but a lot of the homebrew games that come out for Jaguar are really, really cool. So I wouldn't mind picking up an Atari Jaguar. And so there's certain games I don't mind spending money out on. Wolfenstein. You know, I did have I picked up a Jaguar probably 6 years ago at a car boot. I paid 70, 80 quid. It was boxed. came with Wolfenstein, was it Alien versus Predator? Or Aliens? Can't remember now. But actually, I had so much fun with those two games. They were really, really cool. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, certain games are worth owning the console for. You know, you could spend like 100 quid on a load of shit games for like the Switch or whatever, when you could save that money and buy a console just for the one game you've always wanted to play. Doom on the Jaguar is awesome. Yeah, Doom is fucking cool. Actually, Doom 64 on the N64 is really, really cool. And apparently they're bringing that to the Switch. It would be really cool. So yeah, I think certain consoles, I think every console, you can't cuss any console, because every console has a top 10 game that everyone wants to play, whether it be the Atari 2600, the Jaguar, I don't know, the N64, Sinclair Spectrum. You know, if we all had the space, we'd all have every console, wouldn't we? And the top 10 games for every console. Because, you know, we all love these games. We don't hold any bias towards any console. There are some people that do that, just hate Nintendo. I don't get it. You know, how can you hate Nintendo when they've made... You know, it's like saying I hate the Beatles. Well, there's at least one fucking song that the Beatles made that you're gonna like. You know, it's like... It's just stupid. You know, I don't hold any kind of bias towards anyone. Let's read the comments. Been playing Quake. Spectrum doesn't. What do you mean the Spectrum doesn't? Spectrum's awesome, man. What you got on the Spectrum? You've got Chucky Egg, you've got Scuba Dive, Ant-Attack, Death Chase, Trash Man. I just picked up Uridium on the Spectrum is awesome. Panzerdrome on the Spectrum is awesome. Harrier Attack, R-Type, Bruce Lee, Lunar Jet Manic, Way of the Exploding Fist, Attic Attack. So many great games on the Spectrum. How can you say that, Steve? Are you drinking, guys? I hope you're having a drink, because I am. So, 180 on the Spectrum. Yeah, I bet there is. Jetpack was awesome. So I've been chatting with all better on the C64. I had one mate at school that had a Commodore 64. And I remember going around there and he had Bruce Lee running, and I thought the colours were so brown and off. It just didn't look right, and it just didn't feel the same. The Spectrum version of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee's such a fantastic game. I mean, I'm a massive Bruce Lee fan anyway. You didn't have Chaos on the Spectrum. Chaos was a fantastic game. Julian Gollop. Matthew M, thanks for all the videos from Texas. Hey, we've got a guy from Texas. Cool. Man, I want to get back to America. I love America. Hey, Paul, how you doing? You sorted my Specky games out. So Paul came round tonight. Buller came round and picked up my Specky Everdrive thing. He's just uploaded all the Spectrum games. Probably going to be about 10,000. Have you got Hunchback? Yeah, Hunchback was one of my favourite games. I actually prefer Hunchback on the BBC Micro. And in fact, you know, I was listening to, is it the Retro Hour today? They did a podcast with the guy that created the ARM chip for the BBC Micro. What was his name? Can't remember his name now. That was really interesting. I love the BBC Micro. I've got a BBC Micro upstairs. In fact, you know, when I get my arcade, I'm kind of in two minds to have two of these tables set up, so I can have all the consoles set up and my BBC Micro all set up. I don't want to ram it full of arcades, you know, because I love the console stuff and the 8-bit micro stuff as well. I'd love to have the BBC Micro set up. Do you know what the best game on the BBC Micro is? And you guys have probably never heard of it. Starship Command. Starship Command. That is a fantastic game, way ahead of its time. Let's check these comments out. What are you guys talking a load of shit? You don't like the Beatles. Punchy. Yeah, P.O. Chaos was a fantastic game. Do you know, I met Julian Gollop at Revival. What a top bloke. Love chatting to him. You listen to yourself while making fish and chips, you sad git. Bandits is great on the BBC. Yeah, I've got Bandits somewhere. Blockbuster, Escape from Moonbase Alpha, Bandits at 3 o'clock, Nemesis. Some great games on the BBC. In fact, there's a really good game. Remember that Cosmic Gorilla arcade machine? See, I really do feel it's like a space that you guys have missed, because I've had cabs that have come and gone and I haven't done a video on them. I had this really cool game called Cosmic Gorilla, an arcade game by Universal, and I never did a video on it. Unfortunately, just one of those things I never got round to, but there's a really cool conversion of that on the BBC Micro. Can't remember what it's called now. I think it's called Bandits or something like that. I should have kept Cosmic Gorilla. Steve, I should have kept a load of games. You know, I've had so many. Do you remember that M1? Early fucking tank game? I wish I never got rid of that. I wish I never got rid of video pinball. I've had Fast Freddy. That was a fun game. I like Fast Freddy. I've had so many games that I've had to get rid of, and it's only because of my situation I've had to get rid of them. And I do regret getting rid of a lot of them. But I ain't got room for them all, man. You know, I'm not a fucking museum. You know, it's hard. It hurts. It hurts getting rid of an arcade game. It really does. Because you know what? You get it, you play it, and then you leave it alone for a while because you're like, okay, I'm done there. And then you think, hang on a minute, I've seen something else I want. I'll get rid of that to get the money to get this. And then you regret selling it. But you know, that's collecting, isn't it? You know, you just can't have room for it all. I ain't got the money and I ain't got the room for every arcade machine. You can't have everything, Steve. Hey Adrian, how you doing? I will never ever sell Astro Blaster. Have you beaten my score yet, Adrian? You haven't, have you? I managed to get my top score on Astro Blaster this week, 35,000. I was well chuffed. Well chuffed. That game for me, I mean, it probably took me 6 minutes to get my top score. That's how long the game plays, 6 minutes. But it's so addictive. It's like, it's always your fault when shit goes wrong, you know? There's so many little secret bits in that game, and it's pinpoint accuracy. Charlie Farr, how you doing, mate? How you doing, David? It's pinpoint accuracy, getting the perfect score on Astro Blaster. And you know, each and every single time you play it, you can do better. And that's what I like about Astro Blaster. Of course, the synthesized speech and having actually a dedicated Astro Blaster machine with that 8-inch speaker just blows me away. It's unbelievable sound. What's the game in the background? The game I've got here is on Sega Mega Drive, EverDrive, and it is Biohazard. It's quite an atmospheric side-scrolling shooter. Really, really cool. Charlie Farr is a legend. Without further ado, Retro, how you doing? Matthew M. What are your thoughts on Arcade Legends Ultimate from 80 Games? What is Arcade Legends? I don't know, Matthew. I'm not sure what Arcade Legends is. Yeah, that is Biohazard for the Mega Drive. Quite a cheap game to pick up. This is the game, guys. Wizard of War. This is the game. Can't wait to do a video on this. It's like an arcade one-up. I don't like the arcade one-ups. It's just for the casual consumer market. They're not for me at all. For me, it's all about nostalgia, authenticity, originality. For me, it's all about the artwork. I don't like the arcade one-ups. It's got an LCD screen in it. You know, if you're going to play a classic arcade game on an LCD screen, you might as well just do it on your laptop. You know, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's not for me, but I'm a minority. I'm an arcade collector. I'm a nerd, so I like the original cabs. For me, the arcade 1-up stuff doesn't do anything for me whatsoever. The real menus, CRTs, yeah, definitely. No, I just don't see the point in them. I get it for some people. You know, the Star Wars one I get, it's got the yoke and everything, but you know, Star Wars, the actual Vector game, had you know, it's fantastic sitting in the cockpit and playing that again, takes you right back. But the game for me, I wouldn't have in my collection because it's not enough in it for me. But for guys, the casual guy, the people that are not really watching videos like this, are not really in the community, they're not really UK VACers, they're just casual people that remember it and go, oh yeah, I remember that, let's get that. It's fine, but it's not for me. Not for me at all. I want the original arcade machine. I'm nearly there, guys. I do like new games though as well. I do like a lot of new games. I love playing new games on the Switch, especially if they've kind of got a futuristic neon arcade feel about them. Some really cool games on the Switch, and I like to mix old with modern in a very subtle way. I think it works really well. A bit like architecture, you know, you can get a really old building with a new extension on the side and it works. It's the same with old stuff. You know, going forward, I'm going to have all this, I'm going to have loads of fucking neon, loads of really cool old arcade stuff. At the same time, I want a fuck off big screen with modern, I'm not talking like Call of Duty and all that. I'm talking about these people that make really cool 16-bit games for a modern day system. And some of them are absolutely awesome. They play so well. Right, let's read some of these comments. Do I ever play Silkworm back in the arcade? Yeah, I have, Eric. It was an awesome game. If all goes to plan, I'll have a new game room as well later this year. SNES-tastic Pete, well, good luck to you, mate. I look forward to a video on that. Have you played Nick's Machina, Alex? Is that for the Switch, David? I don't know. You've still got a no, I haven't got a massive CRT. I've got a Sony Triniton 21-inch in my garage, and I don't use it. I'm really happy with this 14-inch Sony Triniton. I've had a Bang Olufsen 21-inch and got rid of it. I got the Sony Triniton 21-inch and got rid of it, although it's still in the garage. I don't use it. If anyone wants it, by the way, you're welcome to have it. I'm happy with this 14-inch Sony Triniton. It's what I played on back in the day. It's not overbearing in the room, and I just love it. And it's, you know, if people go on about PVMs and all of that, this for me, I mean, my eyesight ain't great, but this fucking looks awesome. And I can plug this into an amp. I've got a really cool amplifier, and it's coming out of my neon speakers, and it's brilliant. I love it. When I get into my new arcade, I might have 2 Sony Trinitons set up. My idea is to have 2 Vectrexes set up because I love the Vectrex. So I have 3 of my favourite consoles, the PC Engine, SNES and Mega Drive, and then have 2 of my favourite 8-bit computers, Spectrum and the BBC Micro, and that will do me. I don't need anything else. With my arcade stuff, that's all I need. Cool, guys. Thanks, Pete. I really appreciate that. Evening Retro Russ. Yeah, I was just saying, I don't need much. I mean, it's just so much to play. I don't need much, to be honest with you. I do want another Vectrex, so like Cine Steve's got. He's got a vertical and horizontal Vectrex set up. I don't want to keep swapping them around. Hey, did they do Alex Kidd in the arcade? Alex Kidd for the arcade? I'm not sure, to be honest with you, mate. I really don't know. It's on the Mega Drive, isn't it? I mean, there's only so much time in a day. How much time in a day do you have to play all these games? I find it difficult enough it is just to come here and fire up Robotron. So that's another reason why I slimmed down my Super Nintendo collection. I do need a second Vectrex, Steve. What else would I like? There's not a lot else I want, really. As I say, 2 jammer cabs would be cool in the arcade for vertical and horizontal games. So I can sort of, you know, for games like R-Type and Juno First, I've got a Konami adapter. I can stick in a few Konami games and play that in a jammer cab would be cool. What else do you want? I think the trouble is now is games are so much money. I've gone the EverDrive route and I'm quite happy with it, to be honest with you. And I've just kept my favourite 30 Super Nintendo games. The really expensive ones I sold were like Wild Guns. I got like 480 quid for Wild Guns. Demon's Crest I got about 450 for. Pocky and Rocky, same sort of amount. I mean, that's a silly amount of money sitting on the shelf when I can just play it on the EverDrive. So I got rid of those, and the money went towards, you know, some of these dedicated arcade machines that I wanted. And I can still play them on the EverDrive. Have you tried VR yet? VR yet? Thoughts, Pete? I have. I went to the arcade club a couple of weeks ago. What did I go up there for? Can't remember what I went up there for now. Pick up an arcade machine, just met up with some guys, and I played a beat game, like with swords, saber swords, and I couldn't get into it. But that was a bad example for me because I'm not very good at those beat games anyway. There's a few games that I'm interested, because I do listen to all the modern podcasts. I listen to the Video Game Outsiders. So if you don't know that one, guys, it's John, who does John's Arcade YouTube channel. He's got a really cool podcast called the Video Game Outsiders. And they review, well, they don't really review, they talk about and joke about games, the latest games I've been playing. I love it. I fucking love John. He's awesome. And John's really into his VR at the moment. So actually, I wouldn't mind getting VR. There's a few games. Actually, I did play Resident Evil around my mate's house. And he put on this Resident Evil game and he thought I was going to get really scared. But he doesn't know me enough, because actually horror films just make me laugh. I just laugh. I don't find them scary at all. I just find them hilarious. And this woman, her hair, I had this fucking thing on. And I just remember her hair coming over the top of me, and she was stabbing my thigh like this. It was all in virtual reality, and I just laughed my head off. And he thought, "What are you laughing at?" I just find it fucking funny. You know, he was expecting me to get scared. I don't get scared by shit like that. I just find it funny. But it was really, really cool and intense. There are some really cool games I want to play. Is it Tempest? Tempest on the PS4. The new one that Jeff Minter brought out. I'd love to play that because I'm a massive Tempest fan. Games like that I think work really well, but the sort of 3D stuff, I do suffer from a little motion sickness from. Let's just check out the comments. Yeah, jammer cabs are a must. VR is rad. Got to do Battlezone. Yeah, there's a game that would work well. Battlezone, Pete says it's incredible. Arcade Club is great. Scary games in VR, no. Check his channel out, Richard David. Resogun. Yeah, Resogun. Isn't that like Defender? I fucking want that. That sounds really cool. Eric C, do you know any arcade retailer in the UK apart from Home Leisure? You're looking for a Donkey Kong and a Popeye. Dude, if you're looking for an arcade machine, don't deal with Arcade Leisure. Fucking hell, you want to go, get on UK VAC. There's a couple of people like James Brindle and a few others that are doing containers over to the UK, if you don't want to deal with them, do what I do. Go on eBay at 2 o'clock in the morning after about a bottle of rum and go and buy a Wizard of War. And then worry about it the next morning, because that's what I did. And I've got a shipping company that deal with the machine and get it door-to-door delivery for around about £500. But you'll get the cab cheaper in America anyway. And I prefer to do that than join these fucking clubs, these organisations that ram all these cabs into these containers and ship them over, and you have to wait 6 months. I'd rather pick my cab out that I want, deal with the seller, and get it shipped myself and pay the extra 200 quid, because that's all it costs, an extra 200 quid. But if it's a game you really, really want, and you want it working, and you don't want to do any work on it, just fucking go on eBay, join Clov, talk to the seller, if it's a cab you really want, and ask whether they would ship to the UK, tell them you'll deal with all the shipping, and just deal with it yourself. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Don't deal with any third party in the UK, because you'll pay premium. Right, I've got to join another. I'm running out of, fuck it, I've run out of Coke. Hey Daniel, how you doing, bro? How you doing, Daniel? I hope you're all well, mate. My good friend Daniel in the USA, the good old USA. I want to come over there, dude. I want to come to America. I love America. I love my Duo RX. What's that? Hermit's Hideaway. How you doing? I'm good, mate. So many people saying hello here. Just got to read all the comments. Yeah, guys, you've got some amazing collections. I want to come to America and do a game room tour. So many amazing collections out there. I mean, you know, I think I'm fucking... Oh, sorry, I've had too much to drink. I think I'm lucky enough just to have Sheriff, to be honest with you. To get that cab in his collection is unbelievable. Any more questions, guys? How long have I been on here? I've been on for I've been over an hour, guys. I'm gonna have to cut off soon. Any more questions before I go? As I say, I am celebrating tonight. I am moving house, and I'm gonna set up a new arcade. I'm so excited with my new girlfriend, and I do look tipsy. Yeah, I've run out of Coke though. I might have to go up the shop. I'm really excited. So you'll expect more videos from me going forward this year. Give me a few months though to get settled. I can't wait to get this arcade, guys. I really can't. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be about 3 to 4 months, I reckon, before I move in there. And what I do, I think what it needs to be insulated. I'm going to have to sort the electrics out. But, you know, I'm going to do videos on that journey, how I get it to what I want it. I'm going to have loads of neon lights in there. Hopefully get about 16 cabs in there. And it's going to be awesome. So give me about 4 months. Hopefully I'll be able to do a game room tour in between that. What do I do for a living? I'm a bricklayer. I'm a bricklayer. Don't earn big money, but I earn a good living. When are you moving? Hopefully within the next 6 months. Within 6 months I'll be out of here. I'll have my arcade. And hopefully you can join me on that journey and doing it up. The building's there, it just needs insulating and either plasterboarding inside or some sort of cladding, and just basically setting it up with all my stuff. That's the exciting bit. But I would say next 6 months, and then I'll be uploading videos more regularly like I used to, which I'm looking forward to. Guys, you're a great community. I'm going to have to love you and leave you because I've had too much to drink. Could be the same as me then putting a new... Well, Pete, I look forward to your new game room, mate. Really look forward to it. Keep up the videos, mate. It's nice to see you back. Yeah, have a good night, guys. Thanks for joining me. I've really enjoyed this. As I say, I'm doing this video because it's celebration. I'm moving finally. I'm really looking forward to it. And I actually want to take you on this journey into my new arcade once it's all set up. It's going to be really cool. Thanks, guys. I've had too much to drink. I better go now before I say something stupid. Take care. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.